All right, so welcome to my How People Manipulate series, where we talk about the strategies that people use to manipulate you and how to defend yourself against them. And in this one, we're going to be talking about the strategy, which is the lesser of two evils. This strategy is used for when people or political groups or any type of organization can become as vile and as evil as they could, while maintaining a moral superiority and moral high ground. And the way that they do this is through using the strategy of the lesser of two evils, right? It's a strategy that uses manipulation that can be employed to influence decision making. This tactic leverages a few things. Leverages fear, uncertainty, emotional appeal to steer people towards choosing the option that seems less harmful or problematic. Right? It's a mental form of terrorism, and this is how it's done. One, they demonize the opposition. Right, they demonize of the opposition, amplifying the negative aspects of the opposition, risks and consequences associated with the opposing side. They downplay their own flaws, right? Downplaying flaws in your own opinion. They create a false dichotomy, framing the situation as having two possible choices, ignoring or diminishing any potential alternative. And they leverage emotional appeal. They utilize fear, uncertainty, and doubt to heighten the perceived risk of the opposing option, right? So what it does then is that it appeals to emotions such as loyalty, trust, or protection, right? So and actually we see this in politics the most, right? But then a lot of people will use this to manipulate their own selves, where they're dating someone, and because the person that they're dating doesn't smack them that hard, you kind of stay with them because they're not that bad, right? And this also works best because we are social animals. In other words, people will rather stay with the devil that they know, meaning that they fear leaving the plantation, quote unquote, metaphorically, and going into the unknown. They fear that more, and they rather take the pain of being with the person that they're with, right? So let's talk about what are the steps that people use to implement this strategy, because it's really a powerful one. This is very relevant today. You see this in politics. One, identify weaknesses. Carefully analyze the opposition to identify and highlight its weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and potential negative impacts, right? So once you find that, then you exaggerate the negative impact. You see this in cults. Cults do this, where they'll find something true about the opposing group, but then they'll exaggerate the truth, mix truth and fiction to deceive people. So they amplify the threat. And what people do is that they use media, communication, rhetoric to amplify the perceived threat or dangers posed by the opposing side, right? They share anecdotes, testimonials, hypothetical scenarios that illustrates the worst case outcomes of choosing the opposing side, right? So once they do that, they minimize their own flaws so this is honestly a strategy that if you wanna go full Hitler mode, you apply this strategy. Because this strategy will help you rationalize any evil done to anyone. Literally. Like, you could literally do evil and justify it and have people support you with the strategy. And you can even have the nicest people support you with the strategy. It's complete brainwash, right? You minimize your own flaws, acknowledge any flaws or drawbacks in your own opinion, but frame them as minor or manageable compared to the opposing threat. Highlight any positive aspects, achievement, benefits associated with your own option to create a balanced view. So then once you do that, then you can control the narrative. Dominate the conversation by continually steering discussion towards the extreme negatives of the opposing option. Again, and the most important is repetition. What they do then, once they set the narrative, then they use repetition to imprint it in your mind. And then once you create this, once they create this, then they hire people to promote this cause. They enlist support of influential figures, experts, or authorities who can lend credibility to your narrative. Honestly, look, people, I am not a Republican. This looks like the Democrats. I'm sorry. just saying. I just say, you know what I'm saying? I just say, you know what I'm saying? The Republicans do this shit too, right? But right now, I think that the experts, the ones that are really good at this, are Democrats. And I don't say this as a negative. Like, I'm just saying this as impartial. Like just looking at politics impartially. I think that the group that does this the best are Democrats. They are experts at this. I mean, and again, please, like, I understand some people political, but they're the best at this. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? they're experts at this. And the next thing that they do then is create urgency. Stress the importance of making a decision quickly to mitigate the perceived threat posed by the opposition. So quickly. So you got to be a master of timing. You know, this is an example of that is this will be the last election, right? Democracy is at stake, right? That's really good. Look, people, it works. I'm just giving my hats off. It works. So use time-sensitive language and scenarios to pressure individuals into choosing your options, right? And so this is how people manipulate you, through lesser of two evils. And this is why leaders can be the most vile of people and people will still support them. You can't judge people who support people who are really bad, because the truth is there's a machine that is beyond their control controlling them. And it's a very powerful machine. And the way that this machine works on you is through you being distracted, you not having enough time to do your own research. That's how it's done. It's not going to work on everyone. People who have time to look into different sides, they're not going to fall for this, but they're not really targeting you. They're targeting the dumbasses of the world. they're targeting, you know, like people who honestly, I'm not going to say dumbasses, but they're targeting people who just don't have time, man. And that's most people. And this is a very powerful strategy, man. I mean, this is why people get so easily manipulated, and this is why you should have compassion, because these strategies are very powerful. And if you think they don't work on you, trust me. Like, you, for example, you may not if you find out your friend is a liar and that your friend stole money from people, most likely you will stop being friends with them. But if you find out that the political figure that you have is a scammer, like Trump had a scammer, like he had a Trump University, which was a scam. You know that, right? Trump University, like, he literally had a scam university, right? So he's not a good person, right? Anyone that you know would do that, like Logan Paul, for example, he scammed his followers. People hate him. Trump does it. They know that he does it, but they kind of don't care. Why? Because the opposition, Democrats, they think they're worse. Logan Paul, who scammed his followers, doesn't have that type of opposition for people to forgive him. He's not in politics. Once you get into politics, your opposition represents something larger than yourself, to the point that you could do so many fucked up things and people will forgive you for it, because your opposition is Hitler himself. Your opposition is the end of democracy. Oh my God, that's crazy, man. That's crazy shit, man. Oh, that's crazy. Look, man, I gotta thank my friend John for helping me come up with this topic. I was gonna make a video about hypocrisy and how hypocrisy is a strategy that people use to manipulate you, but this one, honestly, I'm surprised Robert Greene didn't write this in his book. That's all I'm saying, man. By the way, if you guys ever want to work with me one-on-one and you feel like you want to apply these strategies without going to hell, or you want to learn how to influence people, or you have a situation such as dating, or even a situation when you don't know how to make friends, or you feel like you're getting manipulated and you want to get me to hear your story and give you advice, in my opinion, you can click in the description down below and have access to me and have a one-on-one session today. And there I'll be able to help you, again, to apply these strategies without going to hell, to improve your dating life or your social life. Like, I will literally teach you guys how to do that. And also I have courses where I teach you guys how to apply these strategies. I have courses for men on improving their dating lives, courses for women on improving their dating lives, courses on how to manage your emotions and control your emotions, courses on how to project masculinity, femininity. You guys can check out all my catalog of courses by clicking on the description down below where it says shop for courses, or scan the QR code right here to work with me one-on-one today. And if you don't, I'm closing the channel.